Hey everybody, happy Trans Day of Visibility 2026. My name is Aeon. Welcome to a very special episode of AeonEsq Live. You are now watching this either from YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. I am also live on my TikTok page. Uh, I just I explained it before, but I don't mind explaining it again. I wanted to have this conversation today as we experience all of the stories on Trans Day of Visibility. I think something that is left out from the conversation are those of us who have lost our employment over the past year. Um, the Trump this iteration of the Trump administration has been very violent and detrimental to our communities, and a lot of us have lost a lot in a short amount of time, and we are entering a very volatile and a very rough job market. And I know, at least for me, my life has had to change very quickly, and I just feel like it's not being covered and reported like just by our media outlets. And a lot of us are out here having to find community, having to pivot, and having to shift. So I wanted to make sure that on Trans Day of Visibility, that we give space to our community so that we can share our narrative, so we can tell you from the ground exactly what is going on, exactly what it's like, but also how we're creating community with each other, how we're keeping, how we're inspiring hope, how we're making money in the meantime. Because I know for me, the goal is to. We all know the pendulum will swing the other way. My goal is to find ways to survive and to maintain until that pendulum swings the other way. But I just wanted to give space to talk about this particular topic because I know so many of us in our community are going through this. It is not easy. It's not glamorous. It's very hard. I I extended the net to have this conversation with so many people. Um, it's not an easy conversation to have, y'all. It's not an easy conversation to have. But I am thankful that I will not be doing this alone. I have a very special guest here, Míchél. I will bring her up in a few, but I have a very special guest here with me. So just we can just talk about our experiences navigating this, and also talk about our experience doing this in the South, in the epicenter of all of the anti-trans laws, the epicenter of all of the anti-black laws, just to give y'all a direct access to how we're making it and how we're pulling through. So let me put my banner back up. So that's the banner, and I will add Míchél to the stage.
Hello, hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Um,
Yeah,
to, Today is a better day. Today is a better day. Yeah, let's just do before we get in, because I have a lot of ground I want for us to cover. Um,
sure.
I'm feeling better today. I have to be honest. The last couple of weeks have been very dark for me. I've just gone through. I was just in a lot of dark places because there for multiple reasons, but because there's like so much uncertainty, and as somebody that is actively engaging in the job employment process, it's it's hard. Sometimes you feel like people be playing in your face. I
Mm-hmm.
applied to, at this point, about 40 jobs between January when I resumed my search to now. I've had a couple of interviews, and everything that I applied to, I'm the type of job seeker. I don't apply for things that I know that I can't uh speak on experiences in an interview. Like I apply for jobs with the eye towards, okay, when I'm in an interview, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say this. So I don't know. I just feel like people are playing in my face. I also feel like as somebody that has been on the other side of the hiring table, I feel like people put job descriptions out, but they're not really committed to the process, or they don't really have a process, and a lot of people get lost in the cracks. So I was able to
Mm,
take everything on the nose, but I think for the past couple of weeks, I've just had a breaking point, and I've just been trying to pull myself out of a really dark place. And also, it's just so much change happening right now that I'm just trying to adapt to. So, but today is a better
yeah.
day. I am thankfully, I have the time and I have the funds where I could do a little getaway. So I'm in Dallas right
Oh,
now.
fab.
So here for a couple of days, and then I want to go. I'm going to Austin. I've never been to Austin before, just to get the vibes and just to get out of my house, because you can get stir crazy in your house. But in a
That's so
nutshell,
important.
I'm having
Yeah.
a better day today. How are you feeling today?
Excuse me. First of all, I want to thank you for sharing that because I know what it is to be in that dark place and how vulnerable it is to share that because you don't always really have the language to share that. So, like, thank you for creating this space to share that and then also sharing that. Like you, I am in a better headspace today. Physically, I think I'm kind of like a little allergies, like sinus infection kind of moment. Like this morning, got up feeling real gross. Um, but I'm pushing through, and I'm okay. I think this weather change in Houston and just the season change and all the things have been affecting my body. That I'm not from here, so that's just been affecting my body. So this morning has been kind of like been preparing to get on camera because I'm like, I don't need to be blowing my nose and sneezing, doing all the things while I'm on camera. Mentally, like I said, I'm in a better place. Much like what you shared in over the last few weeks, I have been in a really dark place as well. Um, and I think this is why this conversation is so important, right? Because the only person I really have had to like share this with is my siblings. Like thankfully I have a close relationship with them. And so I talk to them. They don't live here, but I talk to them all the time. They live back in DC, in the DC metro area. And then I started a new relationship not long before being terminated from my job. And so that was a lot of, like you said, a lot of transition to navigate all at once. It was in a relationship, new city, lost my job, new apartment, and also a few weeks before I lost my job, I had to give up my dog. And
Oh,
so
damn.
it was, yeah, girl, it was within 30 days, it was like my life flipped on its head and I didn't recognize what my life looked like anymore. And it was a very surreal experience to have to share with people because anyone I've met in Texas only know this version of me. They have another version of me that worked in community, that had my job, that you saw at events, that you saw traveling, that you saw doing the things. And that's the only version of Míchél that they got. And so this version of me that, struggles with my self-worth, worth and motivation day to day, and my mental health day to day based around the fact that I'm trying to find purpose in a space and place that constantly tells us that we're not worth anything, is very difficult to hold on to, especially when I don't have my normal coping, mechanisms and my normal community, which would be my family. I'm very close to my father, as well. And so in times like this would be moments where I would normally would lean into them and I don't really have them tangibly. They're always going to be there for me, but I'm also not in a place where I'm looking to tuck tail and run. So I'm sticking this out and trusting the process. And I have faith that I am finding my a new path forward of what a new reality looks like for me as a Texan without working for my previous job and working necessarily in community. And that has been a interesting experience, especially now that I'm doing it not by myself. I'm also used to doing that part by myself. And like I said, I started this new relationship, and that has been the adjustment of my normal as well, because I spent 7 years by myself. And so there's something to be said about that transition of mine while still also dealing with unemployment. That they don't really talk about that part either.
Girl, we first of all, I want to thank you for sharing. I also, again, just want to thank you for like doing this, because I know like doing this and being this vulnerable and being this open, especially during this time, is not easy. And I just want to thank you for answering the call. I just want to thank you for being here. And you doing this makes me feel more comfortable about doing this. And I think once we get to the end of it, I think more people will be empowered and more people will be liberated. And I know my intention for this is for us to create community with each other. When we had our pre-call, you gave me a resource for a way that I could make money, and it's just
Yeah.
like stuff like that is what keeps us moving forward and what keeps us going. And I'm just I know there is going to be so much power in us sharing our stories and us doing this together. Um, Before I go into the first question, just some housekeeping. If you are watching this on YouTube, please share. We are doing this live, so if you put a comment, if you're watching on Facebook or if you put it on YouTube or even maybe Instagram, it will populate and we can share your comments. This is an interactive conversation. Towards the end of this conversation, I will put a link for people to come up, preferably trans people who are unemployed, to come up, and if they feel comfortable enough to share their story or to give some tips, um, I would love that. I know we would love that. So, but we'll reserve that towards the back half of this. But I want to kind of set the tone for this conversation before we get into the questions, just with some facts, just about like where we are as a people, where we are as a movement, and to kind of hammer home that this is something that is that is collectively happening, like to our people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna share my screen. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay. So because we are Black women, I wanted to start with this alarming statistic. If you are watching on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, you're able to see any graphics or any screens. I'm sorry for the people watching on TikTok. You won't be able to see it, but you will be able to hear me talk about it. And I just think we have to ground it here. Because this is just where we are. So this was reported on the 19th. Black women started 2025 with an unemployment rate of 5.4%. However, they ended it at 7.3%, the highest rate in 4 years. Black women's unemployment is now equivalent to white women's rate during the bleakest moments of the Great Recession. And this is just a graphic to show how unemployment amongst Black women has been ticking up. Um, and I'm gonna just read this paragraph before I go on to the next thing I want to share. The impacts of job loss for Black women started to surface this summer of 2025, when cuts to federal agencies started to show up in the data. But that was just the beginning. Workplace trends and government policies that axe jobs and dismantle workplace DEI initiatives are having measurable impact on Black women than more than any other group. Um, and then I'll just read this. By December, Black women were spending an average of 29.7 weeks or more than 7 months unemployed, the highest rate among every group of women and among all men except for Black men who had a slightly higher average. So I just wanted to start here that while our stories are individual, that we are still this is still happening a part of like a cultural national phenomenon that is that all Black women are having because of this administration, because of the harmful policies, are having to endure losing their jobs. and really how destabilizing that is, not only for Black women but for our families and for society as a whole, because so much of us do, and that includes Black trans women. We I believe we are included in that statistic too. So I just wanted to start there. And then I will go to the next slide I want to share. Okay, we got to talk about the Black males, because I did want to have some trans masculine folks represented on the call, but just to let y'all know, I did not forget about y'all. So let's see what's going on with Black men. Um, Recent labor analysis, I know I'm saying that wrong, drawing from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics data suggests that more than 500,000 Black men have lost employment within a relatively short window. While such figures demand careful contextualization, the broader pattern is unmistakable. Black workers, and Black men in particular, remain disproportionately vulnerable to economic shocks. They are, as history has repeatedly shown, the first to be laid off and the last to be rehired. By 2025, the average unemployment rate for Black workers climbed to approximately 6.9% compared to 4.3% overall, and roughly 3.7 for white workers. So for Black people in general, we are, double what white people are currently, but we all know we make up a small fraction of the national population. By year's end, Black unemployment reached 7.5%, the highest level since 2021. For Black men specifically, unemployment hovered above 7% and peaked beyond 8% in certain periods, more than double that of white men. These disparities are not marginal, they are systemic. So, yeah, so Black men are suffering just as bad as the Black women, even though some of them try to act like they are above the system. They are, in fact, impacted by the system. And I'm going to share one more thing, and then I'm going to open it up to you, Míchél, to see if you have any response. But let me share to the
Sure.
last thing that I want to share. And also, if y'all are having any reactions in the comments, please feel free to jump in on this conversation. Okay, so this is from the Movement Advancement Project. Transgender workers are at a high risk of unemployment and poverty. Recent CAP, also known as Center for American Progress, polling shows that 73% of voters support protecting transgender people from discrimination in employment. Despite this strong public support, no federal law provides explicit legal protections for transgender workers based on gender identity and or expression, and only 17 states in the District of Columbia offer these protections. As a result, transgender workers face higher rates of unemployment and are at greater risk of poverty. A broken bargain for transgender workers reveals that transgender workers report unemployment at twice the rate of the population as a whole. So that's 14% of unemployment for trans folks versus 7% for cis folks at the time the workers were surveyed. More than four in transgender people, or 44%, who are currently working, are underemployed. And then lastly, transgender workers are nearly four times more likely than a population as a whole to have a household income of under $10,000, 15% versus 4% at the time when workers were surveyed. So again, I just wanted to kind of narrow this in. Of course, we know why there it's not as much research on transgender people, but I'm pretty sure if we were to get like more specific detailed research, that it would paint an even bleaker picture for trans folks. So I will stop right there. Míchél, I'm gonna bring you back in. Any reaction or any?
Yeah. Hearing these things in numbers really, first of all, it reflects what I've been experiencing in my lived experience. And so even in community and my people around me that were working, I had several people lose their jobs. not just me. So even from day one and my own personal lived experience of what I was going through, there were people that had lost their jobs that I was blindsided and I wasn't even the one that lost their job, you know? See what I'm
Right.
saying? And so I'm just like, oh, no, this was not an isolated, this is not happening in a silo. And I knew that in that moment. And so seeing that reflect in this reporting, A, feels consistent, B, to the point you made, because there's not going to be a lot of bend it over backwards to find out statistics specifically around trans folk and much less Black trans folk. Um, you could only imagine the compound of the affect, when we start talking about unemployment and Black trans people. If we're talking about twice the double the rate of unemployment between just white to Black people within the American workforce, and then you're talking about a 7 to 14% for trans people. And you compound that, if there is a way to do that math, and I'm sure there is, it's just that's above my pay grade, um, to compound those percentages between what it is to be Black and what it is to be trans, and what that actually looks like boots on the ground for those professionals who are, like these numbers are showing, either underemployed or unemployed. And so, yeah, larger picture, I guess I feel less alone. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but I do feel less alone, less alone in this experience. It does help in knowing that I'm not going crazy, and seeing the things that I'm seeing. There has been so much flashbang and awe with the things that have been getting thrown at the general public, and what has been capturing their attention and what has been drawing from their mental and emotional capacities. And so, whereas the human part of me wants to, have compassion for the fact that everybody's tired, the very Black and trans part of me is like, girl, this has been my story from day one. This is just making it worse. This is just making things a lot worse for me. And that feels like an uncomfortable conversation to have, especially when you're expected to still show up in community to support community, and when whatever role you're playing and working in community.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, when you clock out and you hit that clock, you still have to live in community, and you're part of that those intersections of community that are more often than not overlooked. And so that is a rough reality to balance, because I am not one. I try to avoid complaining versus offering solutions, but it's like, good Lord, are we gonna be the crux of every solution?
Right.
Is that gonna be the narrative?
Yeah, and I
Mm,
think trying to get people to understand that, like, yes, I'm usually the one that has to do everything and, has to pull everything together or has to come up with the ideas to save the world, but like mentally I am in the time of need. And I literally, in one of my
mhm,
personal friendships, I got to a point where um like the past 2 weeks, I think I said it when we first got on here. Like I just really have not been in the. I've been working through some just very like toxic, like negative feelings, and it got to a point where in my personal life I've started to draw away from people. I've just been like very mistrustful of people because, like, the feeling of betrayal comes up, and it got to a point where it's just like usually I'm the one that has it for everybody, but I don't have it. I don't even have it to answer the
mhm,
phone. I don't have it, and I
mhm,
really need some me time without the expectation of answering and pouring back in myself because I'm lost. Like right now, I'm
mhm,
lost right
mhm,
now. I was going into 2026 thinking my year was going to look a certain type of way. And now I'm in a situation where I don't know what the back half of my 2026 is going to look like. So I need space to grieve that, to process that, and to also like be present in the change as it's happening in real time. So like it's not easy. It's a lot, and while I'm feeling this on an individual level, I totally, it's good to contextualize, like, in addition to the individual, like, we are all collectively struggling, we're all collectively going through it. And even people that still have a job, because I know what it's like to have a job, you're stressed out because you're having to do more for less. You're stressed out because things are changing, or you're having to look like you have it all together so you can, keep your job, and you don't look like you're at risk of, being a problem. So it's just stress all the way around. But child, I forgot my original point, but yeah, I really had just been trying to process through some really dark and toxic emotions, and like it's been cyclical. Like one minute I'll be happy, I'll be carefree, the other minute
Yeah.
spiraling because where's my next check coming from? How am I going to make money? The next minute I'm angry, or I'm seeing something and it triggers me, and so it's just
Yeah,
the
girl.
the
Yeah,
amount of
girl.
emotions that I have been through in the past like 4 months has been a lot, but it also has been nice to kind of not have the stress of like having a job as well too. But we'll get into that.
That's something else yeah.
We'll
Because
get
that's
we'll,
real. That's really
we'll get
real.
we'll get into that later. I think where I want to go now, um, where I want to go now, I want to jump into our questions. So first, I want to tell the people who you are, like what you do, what your expertise is, and yeah, let's just start there.
Sure. Oh, well, you already told people my name. I'm Míchél Macklin. I'm originally from the DMV area, but I am living in Houston, Texas now. Um, what I do, what do I do? I
Or
mean,
what is
so let me say
what
this.
is
Let me
your
break
what is your
my.
expertise? Yeah.
I'm gonna break it down this way. So, how I make money is I do comms work and admin work as as a contractor. So I do things as far as like writing newsletters. I can do production if you do things like street interviews and things like that. Writing copy, managing social media accounts, things like that. That has been my lane for the last 4 or 5 years. And so I do that by contract, but I also have a business. It's called Studio Loren. It is a talent development agency based around a subscription-based model. And so on a monthly basis, my clients are able to get a certain amount of hours of work from me, whether it be from creative direction, production, admin work. They need me for bookings, whatever it is we would work out within your plan is what we base your pricing around. And so that has been successful, honestly, being more successful being in Houston, which was an unexpected turn of events. But yeah, so that has been the other part of my business. It's more of my passion work. It allows me to bring my admin and comms expertise into my passion work of the arts and creative. And so that's kind of a sweet spot that creates for me. And so that's another thing that I do. Um, but outside of that, like I have really been struggling with. It's funny that you use the word expertise because I don't consider myself an expert in anything. I've built a career around being good at a lot of things, but not an expert at anything. And so I'm finding in this moment, this makes it very difficult. And I don't want to get ahead of myself because there's another, I know there's another question about the movement that you're going to end up asking, and this that
Mhm.
answer ties into this. But in this moment, it makes me feel like a little unsure about my place in the workforce and where I come in because I took the next step to even further my education, and that because of everything that's going on is now also proven difficult as well. So I got denied for financial aid, um, even though I am unemployed, and so I'm having to go through the process of doing individual judgment, but that can take weeks.
Mhm.
And so there's no guarantee whether or not I'll get financial aid. Without financial aid, I won't be able to afford to go to school because I can't afford loans. It was the main reason why I could not go to school in the first place. Um, And so yeah, so this has been like a recurring like cycle now that we're in this place in this climate, that it's like, oh, now that we really have the space and time, I have a partner that's willing to like hold it down while I'm in school, because I'm not the only person having to worry about who's going to support me.
Right.
um but now I don't have, there's no way for me to go to school as a Black trans person living in Texas, apparently, because the avenues that I know to take are not available to me. And so I'm now having to find another way around to expand my expertise, and I don't know what that looks like. And so that's also been playing into a lot of my dark thoughts, because it's like, okay, well, what do I bring to the table? I thought there were
Right.
a lot of things I was good at. Apparently, there is not. The way the way the world will make me feel right now, that there is not. And so yeah, I am still battling with, what that expertise is, but those are the things that I do, and I'm good at them.
So I will answer as well. Brianna, but also go by Aeon. Also, that's my middle name. What do I do? Well, I don't do anything right now. No, I do. I am now trying to carve my footprint in the social media realm. That has been a fun and interesting journey, but I do a lot of things. I'm a licensed attorney. I am a policy advocate. I am a movement leader. I uh, I worked for Baltimore city government at one point. I've worked at CVS. I've worked at Walgreens. Like I do a lot of things. I think for me, I think I'm at a point where I'm 37 now, and I'm like, as I'm applying for stuff, and I have the same thing, the same. I'm like, so what am I an expert at? Like what do I do? And but I also feel like I made it to 37. I gotta be good at something. Like I gotta be, or
That's
I
exactly
have
it. Yes.
because
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about like how am I selling myself? How am I pitching myself? Like what is my elevator
Hmm.
pitch when I'm in the but I also because I've had to navigate through the world and particularly my professional career as a Black trans woman, I haven't had a traditional path for anything. I always have had to pivot. Everything has always had to be piecemeal. Like I don't get the me being trans or me being Black or me being a woman that keeps me out of a lot of paths where I'm able to be at one organization and be there for X amount of years, and I can just go up the ladder and go up the stair step, and
Hmm.
I, I am shut out from a lot of traditional ways of networking and accumulating experiences, and that's probably why I've had to go from experience to experience to experience. Um, but but I have accepted that that is a part of my story. I remember when I was in law school, I had a mentor tell me, "I know the law school is telling you that you have to follow this formula to get to success," but he told me he's like, "You are a Black trans woman, and that's probably not going to apply to you, and you're probably going to have to forge your own path and like work outside of the system." Um, and that advice has been true for me. I've had to get opportunities where I can and make the best of them, and then use them as stepping stones for other things. But it's hard to know that I don't have the easy path like my cisgender counterpart or my cis white counterpart. Like it's very hard. It's a very hard truth to sit with. But also I want to say I've been unemployed. I was notified of my unemployment 2 days after my birthday on December. So December 4th.
Girl,
And then
girl.
my unemployment officially started January 1. So as of now, so tomorrow, April 1st, will mark month 4, the beginning of month 4 of me being unemployed. And with the exception of me going to law school and being in law school for 3 years, this is the longest time since I have been working that I've been unemployed. And uh,
Mm.
It's scary. It's scary because the job market is what it is. The culture is what it is. Everything is so polarizing, and the trans conversation is what it is, and it's
Mm.
just polarizing. Um, and it's I didn't intend to be unemployed for this long. And I'm just scared, money will run out, things will change, and and also I'm a single person, single woman. I can't, I'm not in a position where I can rely on my parents to kind of step in. I'm also an only
Mhm.
child, so I don't have any siblings, so
Mm.
I have to figure something out. Like I have to
Yeah.
figure it out. I have to make it work. So it's been a lot of stress that I've been holding, and I've been trying to work through. But that's just where I am.
I feel that for me, I got let go November 4th. I got let go election or election day last year. I literally got terminated and went to go vote after I got terminated.
Wow,
Got handed my termination letter, my severance offer, and then went to go vote. Got in line at the polls.
wow. And you
So
had to
yeah,
hold it together. I would have
hold it
the way I
together.
would have
Yeah.
voted and just like, well, fuck
I
it.
was not going to let that be a reason. I could not let that be a reason. I could not, especially with knowing that this was the whole point. I was like, if I'm not gonna do anything today, I'm gonna go vote because y'all listen. Something has got to give. Something has got to give. Yeah, that was. But I will never forget that day for that reason. I got let go on election day.
I'm yeah, nobody really acknowledges the trauma of like just being laid off, especially when you didn't expect it. Like
No.
it just and part of me over the past couple of months has just been processing like the trauma of that. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard, and I'm sorry that you went through that.
No, I don't, and ditto. There's something to be said of not like there's something in the air, right? Where like you kind of feel the tide change, but you there's no way to prepare yourself for this.
No,
And I think when
no,
we had our pre-call, we talked about we both were like trying to position ourselves to leave because the job was already getting to a place where it was taxing us physically,
right.
and I could totally relate to that. And so it's to know that that was going on for both of us, and then we both have this experience. I find validation in knowing you weren't crazy. What you felt,
Yeah.
that intuition, what you were feeling, the plans, the things you started to put in place. No matter if we were caught off guard or not, but the little few things we were able to put in place in advance, we weren't crazy. The writing
Yeah,
was indeed on the wall.
yeah, I mean, I did a photo shoot. I was, taking gigs because, again, you don't know how things are going to happen, but you could just feel. I could just. I'm just a very intuitive woman. I could just feel
Hmm.
something in the air. So I'm like, I need to
Yeah.
like prepare myself to kind of get out there and do my own thing and just curate my own voice. And I literally have been interviewing like all last year, and just things
Wow.
just didn't work out. But yeah, I have been interviewing all last year. But also it's hard to interview while you're still working at a job. But
It
I
is.
had to get that experience. I had to get that experience because interviewing is an experience. Interviewing is a skill. So I just knew I had to
It
build that
is.
muscle back up because I could feel something I'm shifting or something coming. I want to go to the next question, and I'm also going to put this
Hmm.
question in the chat. So what has been the hardest part about being unemployed during this time?
Mm. The hardest part about this for me has definitely been avoiding tapping into like old cycles that come up when I'm in like in a survival place. I am a person that is living with and deals with anxiety, CPTSD, and ADHD. And I'm normally medicated for these things. And so without having things like private insurance to cover that, I am no longer medicated for these things, and so I'm having to regulate and work through all of this while unmedicated. It makes everything else, everything, everyday tasks feel like an Olympic size task. And I think that makes that harder because you're already dealing with, darker thoughts around, at least for me, I'm dealing with darker thoughts around my own self-worth, my motivation, and my own mood from day to day. And so that then exasperates it when I'm not able to do as much as I think I should be able to do when am I really working from behind the curve. And
Right.
so staying grounded with that has been a really hard while being in this space. And also again, being in that new relationship, um, I'm used to, like you said before, I'm used to self-isolating when I get in this place. And I don't have to explain myself because I'm by myself. And so I'm no longer by myself. And so the this balance of not pushing him away, but then there also this as a tangent, this development of I'm realizing that his friends have become my friends, his life has become my life because I'm in this new city. And so again, in this space where I normally want to isolate myself, I'm not, but also the parts of life that I'm sharing with him are his. And I don't really feel like I have my own identity in that, even though his friends are fab, don't get me wrong, but I don't have my own identity in that, right? And so that has been hard because that makes me want to pull away, and I'm like, you don't deserve that, and I know you're trying your best to help. And so yeah, that I think that has been the hardest part because all the other things, they're going to be what they're going to be, right? We know what comes with the unemployment. We know about the things about the world we cannot change. But these parts of my life that feel like will easily be overlooked, they make it hard. They make everything else that most everyday people are probably already dealing with, but these specific things make those things harder.
I think for me, the hardest part about being unemployed is just n- knowing that the job market is what it is right now. Like, cause like I said earlier, I didn't think I would be unemployed this long. Like I'm somebody with the things, with the educations, with the licenses, with the experiences, and like I said, I've been interviewing, and I thought I thought that at best, like I would be, strolling back into an opportunity by now or April, and it hasn't worked out like that. It hasn't worked out like that. There's instances where I haven't made it past the first interview, or um, people are
Mhm.
taking like 2 and 3 months to reject you. So it's
Girl, yeah.
that has been hard.
Yeah.
Also, like, if I want to be honest, I feel like because of where we are with the trans conversation, and I don't know this to be for sure, this is just me speculating. I feel like cis people, even well-meaning cis people, in this particular time, a lot of people are very risk averse. So I feel like even if somebody really wanted to hire me, they don't want to risk the trans issue coming up, because the
Hmm.
trans issue is so polarizing. Everybody has an opinion, everybody has an perspective. So maybe internally, um they don't want to have to deal with anything. And then when you think about where we are in Texas, and I've been applying to local jobs, but even to national jobs, um i I'm speculating that maybe it might be an issue where, well, we're fine with you, like we get it, but like, what would happen if we send you to court in such and such state,
Hmm.
and like, or we're working this case and we have opposing counsel, and usually they're fine, but they find out you're trans, and then so I feel like a lot of quote unquote well-meaning people are risk averse during this time, and wanting to be inclusive and be diverse and take a chance on the trans person like they would maybe a
Hmm.
year or two ago. I feel like maybe people are not as willing to take the risk. And then you have people like me who did everything that you said you were supposed that they said I was supposed to do to get
They
in the
said you're
door.
supposed to do. Yeah.
Um, all of a sudden it's not good enough because my identity could be a problem. Like I said, this hasn't been confirmed, but I suspect this, and just knowing how risk averse like organizations and folks are, I wouldn't be surprised if this conversation did not come up in the ultimate decision making process about who makes it to the next level and who doesn't. And I would be a fool to not believe that where we are with transness and how people just feel about trans people, that hasn't impacted my job prospects as well too. Even with as qualified as I am, I know very well that my transness doesn't make it puts a target on my back, even when I don't want a target on my back. So I think yeah, that I think that's just been the hardest part about being unemployed, just the lack of prospects, the lack of people being direct. Um and also I kind of feel like when you're trans and when you're working for these organizations, everybody loves you, everybody has a place for you, everybody has a space for you. But as soon as you part ways with the company for whatever reason, and if you're not instantly working in that field or medium, it kind of feels like I'm dead. It kind of like your
Yeah.
phone stops ringing.
Yeah.
Nobody like you for you to be important and for you to matter in this work, you have to have a title and a org attached to your
Yes.
name. And if you don't
Yes.
have those things, you lose credibility, you lose credibility, you don't matter anymore. And I've also been reckoning with the emotions that I feel like certain people have left me behind, or certain people have disposed of me, and and just me like what have I done all of this for? So just really that has been hard because I'm not like really working and aggressively how I was. I had to sit with a lot of those emotions, feeling like that I'm disposable, or I don't matter anymore because I
Yeah.
don't have
Yeah.
a title or organization behind me.
Yeah. No, I 1000% agree. I mean, I think you expressed how I felt around that verbatim to the point like that my self-talk sounds that way. It's even more so to add to that because in the way that I came into Texas and created community in Texas was in my work first,
Mhm.
that it feels like I have lost tethers of connection without being in this position, without having this title. Now it's like, okay, well, we could hang out, but it's almost like, well, what am I going to talk to them about? Because the only value that it seemed like I had was the fact that I was in this position and had this visibility doing this work. And now that I'm just an everyday, around the way femme queen,
Mhm.
it's cool to know you, good to know you exist. And then, that's where that starts and stops. Um, and not not say that I need a gold star for being, a professional femme queen, but again, this is a very different song than we were singing not but 365 days ago.
Mhm.
Um, and to be in this play again, it was such an abrupt change that it feels almost. It felt up until Find a Community, it felt like, okay, is this happening in a vacuum? Because it was so abrupt that I'm like, this can't be everybody having this abrupt of a shift. Um, and so yeah. I don't know where I was going with that thought, but that definitely came up for me when you shared that.
So it looks like we have a question from a comment from somebody in the audience. Hey Dana, this is my child. I love you down. The hardest
Hi,
part for me
Dana.
has been asking for help. I'm a very prideful person, so it has to be an adjustment. Uh,
That's real.
I know for me, and I should have muted this. I wanted to get a little higher because angles. I know for me, I'm somebody, I don't have a problem asking for help. How as somebody that has went through cancer and has, you know, just has went through life stuff, I'm just very familiar that you will have time, you'll have times in your life when you're up and you're high, but then you have times where you come back down and you have to ask for help. So I know how to ask for help in multiple situations, and I will be asking for help again. But for me, it's all about timing because let's just be honest, we are a community that needs and requires a lot, and in a time when folks are inundated with GoFundMe's and I'm about to kick out, like I don't
Mm,
want to add to that noise. And for me, I want to be
mm-hmm,
intentional and very specific, and I'm not trying to grift anybody. I'm not trying to, I just need this money to do this particular thing, and this is the thing. So I'm very intentional, and I don't want it to be a continual thing where I'm continually asking people for money. And usually, when I'm
mm-hmm,
asking for help, it's linked to a specific thing that I'm trying to do. I
mm-hmm,
may have to move at the end of June, so I'll be, you know, setting something up and, you know, asking for people to help. And also, I realized that we are all struggling financially. Like everybody doesn't get it, so I don't want it to feel like I am like I'm trying to take advantage of people. So for me, I don't have a
mm-hmm.
problem asking for help, but I want to make sure like it's very like intentional. But I definitely have, this is not my first time being laid off. This is not my first time leaving a job. This is not, so I've had to be in so many spaces in my life where I've had to be in a humble place. So that, and also going through this, it's just a reminder that we have been here before. Like everything is cyclical. So, you know, you go through everything in cycles. And it's a reminder that, like, even though you have to take the time to process the emotions of the situation, that you do have the tools to get through and to navigate it. And part of those tools is asking for what you need. So,
Yeah, no, I think I can touch and agree with Dana in it being hard to ask for help. I'm on the other side of that experience. I struggle with asking for help. I have always struggled with asking for help. I have struggled with hyper independence. That has been part of that survival toolkit I hinted to earlier. That has been part of that survival toolkit because when I the few times I would ask for help, it left me disappointed or left me even greater need. And so I conditioned my mind in ways that may not have been as healthy. And so now had to pull myself out of that to be more in the line of what you're explaining, Rihanna. And I really think y'all probably get sick of me bringing this man up. I really think my partner has been a big accountability partner in that. Um, because I am not a person, like I said, if I were on my own doing this, y'all wouldn't hear from me, you wouldn't see from me. I'd be backstage, backstage, licking my wounds, figuring it out. But he makes me find language so that I can tell him what I need so that he can show up. But he makes sure that that I know he's available. And so it has been like a reconditioning of my brain while going through this because in moments where I just want to be like, F this, y'all got it. I'm going to take a nap. We'll try this again tomorrow. He'll, hold my hand and be like, "No, we're gonna try this again. You'll be okay." And no, I'm helpful. I'm thankful for that in the sense of like mental, emotional help. But even in the financial parts of things, he's the only one working a full-time job, and that is a new experience for me. I'm normally the breadwinner in my relationships, historically speaking, and so to not be the case in this reality that I'm in has also been a shift in my mind because again, normally I'd be thrown into this survival place of if I don't do it, it's not going to happen. But that's not
mhm.
really my reality right now, and I am thankful that's not my reality right now because it could be something really, really different. But there are also other things that come with that because I'm a whole person trying to regulate next to another person day to day that I wasn't expecting to be in this place when he got with me, and he wasn't expecting me to be in this place when he got with me. But we're navigating it. And so I'm thankful for that, but it makes the asking for help part feel more natural.
So I will go to the next question. And we kind of
Yes.
already have alluded to this, which I live for. And we're both East Coast girlies.
Hmm.
You from DMV and
Yes,
I'm from
yes.
rep all day. How has it been going through this in the state of Texas?
Ooh,
Yeah, let's just go
Texas, I
there.
feel like, yeah, Texas, I feel like exacerbates things that could be bad for anyone anywhere, but then being here exacerbates it. So let me say this, that this is not, but can you still hear me? My audio went out. Hold on.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. The audio went out for a moment. My bad. But no, this has not been my first time unemployed in Texas. And so previously I had been co-hosting and producing a podcast with some other Black trans women here in Texas. I was living in Dallas at the time though. And when that project came to an end and I needed to find other work, that was the longest stretch of time I had ever done unemployed in my professional career. That was like 8 months of unemployment. And it took me to live in Texas for that to happen because any other time where I'd left the job, I had never been unemployed for more than 2 weeks. And so getting to Texas and having that experience, and then when I finally left again and kind of restabilized my life, this was back in like in 2021, 2022. I restabilized my life and then I get this job offer. And the only reason I moved back to Texas is because I got this job offer. And I was just like, y'all, I figured out my life here, but because this was working, it aligned with so many things I wanted to do. It was working in community. Um, I was connected to people who I had worked with in community previously, and I had just really gotten to this place where I started to allow myself to be visible in my work because I was living stealth and working in a stealth from a stealth environment. And so I have now ventured into this new place and being present and being open about my transness. And I'm like, this would be the perfect opportunity to do that in a job where I wouldn't have to feel any concerns around my safety around that while living in Texas. And so when they made the job offer, I came and now it's played out to this. And I could have packed up my bag and went back to DC. I mean, I have family there that likely would have welcomed me with open arms, but this is not what that is. Um, and I don't really think that is an option for me. Oh, is my I think my computer froze. All right, can you see me okay?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, because it looks like it's freezing on my end. It's about just my connection. But I could have tucked tail and left, but I that doesn't really feel like a solution. Um, it really doesn't feel like a solution because this is going to be hard anywhere I live. And
Hmm.
so, what I will say is that the silver lining to that is that I have not experienced community anywhere else in the way that I like have experienced community here in Texas. Texas is a very unique place when it comes to that. And so, for that reason, even in my feelings of self isolation, I know those are my own feelings because it's not because my people are isolating me. And so, if I were doing this anywhere else, I don't think I would be handling it as well, which is an odd thing to say living in Texas. But living in Texas makes everything more difficult. Also, adding to the fact again, when you don't have a job and you're not working full time, so you don't have private insurance, and you don't have a salary to support yourself, that makes all the other things more difficult too, right? Like I'm not isolating myself just because I don't not just because I don't want to do things, but I can't afford to do things, and I don't want to have to keep asking my friends to do these things, right?
Right,
My health needs, I don't want to, if I'm already having a hard time regulating myself throughout the course of the day, I am not going to go opt in to go out that night too, to then
right,
overstimulate myself some more. Right. And so it's like I want to do the things, I want to be hyper present. I would love to be that person that y'all have come to love and know, but there's this version of me that is adapting. And so I think that with the community that I am creating here in Texas, that or in Houston specifically, that I will have the space to navigate that. But like I said, it's just being in Texas makes everything harder for the individual, let me say.
I would say for me, the, it's bittersweet. Okay. So just to get the bad stuff out of the way, it is Texas. Texas is still a red state. We had the bathroom bill, which mainly applies to state funded buildings,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still in effect. And also, I think it makes me hesitant. That stuff like that makes me hesitant to apply for like state based or like local based jobs, because I would love to work for the state of Texas. I would love to work for
Mm-hmm.
Harris County and City of Houston, but again, somebody that has been on the other side of hiring, I would be a fool to, even if I don't talk about my tea, I can't, it's going to say on my resume, I worked at transgender such and such, or I did something. And so like they're going to know. And
They're
it's
going to
going to be
know.
a conversation of, well, if we bring her in here, yeah, she looks the part, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter about what you look like. If somebody knows your tea and they want to make an issue of it, is going to be an issue. And are are they going to take the issue on this one person, or are they going to exclude the one person to keep the whole in check? So, in Texas, there's no protections on the basis of gender identity, even at the local level.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the Medicaid and Medicare. As of now, I don't have health insurance, and I'm somebody, I take medications. I have different medical conditions aside from me being transgender. I have other things that I take medication for, and I need access to medication too. I'm somebody, I like going. I go to the dentist regularly. I go to get checkups
Mm-hmm.
regularly,
Mm-hmm.
to try to do some preventative stuff, and that is gone for me. And then we don't live in a state where they've been inclusive of Obamacare things where anybody can just sign up for health insurance. When I was in law school and I was living in Illinois, my school didn't offer like health insurance for their students, so I had to get um, on Illinois state Obamacare insurance, and I was diagnosed with cancer
Mm.
while I was in law school. And luckily, that Obamacare state-based insurance that carried me through. And when I went through all of my treatments and stuff, I didn't have to pay a dime for that. And something I think about every day is, if thank God I'm in remission, but like anything can happen. And if it so happens to happen at a hospital down here, who I don't want to have to depend on the mercy of strangers for things like that. That's just not the type
Yeah.
of world that I want to live in. So that has been a hard pill to swallow. And then I have friends who live in the north or live in these blue places. Like, you need to move up here. I can never move down there. But on the flip side, but connecting to what you said, I've never experienced community, particularly with Black trans women down here.
My God. Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just have never experienced it. Not even where I'm from in Baltimore and all the work that I've done there.
Mm-hmm.
I've never experienced how deep. And it's not to say that all of us are girlfriends or we're hanging out, but it's nice to go out and you see a plethora of girls just out
Mm-hmm.
mingling, living their lives, minding their business. Stuff like that means something to me. And I've lived in Chicago, I've lived in DC, and I've never seen it there quite how it is here in the South. It's so many different Black trans women. It's so many different age ranges of Black trans women down here that are just working, living, just living their everyday lives. So that community down here, that's what keeps me down here. Also, the cost of living. Y'all want all of the girls to move to these blue states, and yeah, you can move there
Yes.
and get a facial film and get, you could get a pair of bags and stuff, but I still want to be able to pay my rent and live comfortably. Like I'm able to
'Cause I
live
got
off of
it.
my severance for an extended period of
Yeah.
time because even though I'm renting a house right now, what I'm paying for a house is not even what you can't even get what I'm paying for a house in Texas, you may can get a studio in New York City, you may,
Mhm.
but it's just my money
Mhm.
stretches out farther living in the South in ways that it just can't. And if I'm going to endure these long, extended periods of unemployment, I have to make my money stretch. I just have
Yeah.
to, and I don't ever see me moving back. That was part of the reason why I left DC because my rent in my studio apartment was about to jump up to like $1,700, and I'm like, for all of that, I might as
Mhm.
well move back to the South because this doesn't make no.
Yeah.
And then y'all are not offering things as incentives to keep me living here and paying this much rent. And I'm currently going through a process that if I don't pull anything full time, when my lease is up, I'm going to have to downsize to an apartment. But even if I downsize to an apartment, it's not like it's going to be horrible. It's not going to be a house, but it's still going to be a
Mm-mm.
sad apartment in Houston. It's just going to be
Mhm.
$1,000 less. Where if I can't get a full time job and I have to work gig jobs or I have to do what I can still make ends meet. But downsizing in Houston is not a bad situation. It's not like downsizing on the East
It's
Coast.
not.
It's not.
I'm gonna be honest
And
with you. I may be unemployed, but I like my apartment. My apartment is cute.
yes, yes,
So I
girl.
agree with you with that.
Like if I'm going to be unemployed, it has to be. And I've talked to so many people in the past couple of weeks, and like particularly I'm thinking of one person that is somewhere else in the South that doesn't have the things that we have in Houston, and they're miserable. And I would just hate to be somewhere to be unemployed, but to also be in a place and be in a community where I don't feel held or I don't feel like I can just go out
Hmm.
and let my hair down. So um it's very scary. It's also very empowering, and I am hopeful. I'm not even going to say that I hope Texas turns blue because I really don't have a whole bunch of faith in the Democratic Party, but I'm hopeful that we can get a lot of this old guard out of Texas because um,
Hmm.
everybody's not able to run and flee and go to these sanctuary places. And as somebody that worked in a blue state in Washington State, a lot of these blue places are just as fucking conservative and as
Yeah.
problematic as Texas. They try to hide it.
They
But
dress it in classism.
yeah, they are
Yeah.
just as, if not more problematic and racist
Hmm.
as a Texas. So,
Agreed.
but
Agreed for sure.
I can do my unemployment in Texas better just because my quality of life, even with me not having a job, is just way easier. Even with the transphobia, I do worry. Um, I think I worried more when I had to travel and go to the airport more. Now that's kind of a job for me, and
Hmm.
I'm not really trying to go to the airport. But
Hmm.
yeah, I feel that I am where I need to be right now, and something called me to the South, and I'm not ready to go yet. I'm not ready to leave yet. But yeah, I love my life in Texas. I love the woman that I am in Texas, and I'm just not
I
ready
can
to go
touch and
yet.
agree with you with that. Yeah. I can touch and agree with you with that.
So let's go to the next question. For those of y'all watching, if y'all have commentary or you want to please interact in the comments, also like and share what you are watching because this is premium stuff that y'all are getting.
Come on,
Um,
premium.
yes, it's premium. Let me. Let's just go. Let's just jump into it. Let's just go to
Okay.
it. Um. Do Do you feel left behind by the current trans rights movement?
Okay, so we touched on this a little bit earlier. So I wouldn't say
Yeah.
left behind, but like I said, I do feel unsure about my place. I don't specialize in any one thing. And I don't have a degree that enters a room before me to support that says my skill set is valid. Um, and so at this moment, it's become really clear that my lived experience is really not gonna move the needle any. And so I'm now trying to figure out, okay, well then now of the many skills you have, you need to figure out what you want to specialize in. Um, Law school was an option for a moment. Before I moved to Texas, I had applied to become undergrad at Montgomery County Community College. They
Hmm.
out there in Maryland
Okay.
for political science. I was gonna go for poli sci. And I wanted to transfer so that they can pick up law. Um, that was what I thought the path was going to be. And then, and it's kind of a kismet moment having this conversation with you because I believe that's how you ended up on my radar was that I saw that you were an attorney and I was like, okay, so this is a path that is not completely insane for me. So that was my
Hmm.
introduction to you on the internet was that I knew that you were an attorney and that I had aspired to become an attorney. And I was like, okay, well, this is something that I could do. This is what this looks like. And then I sat with that, and it's funny that you brought this up because I sat with that. I'm like, okay, so what is the implications of that? What does that look like when you then do have that law degree and you're now tackling this in the real world? Because I also knew that I wanted to be involved within human rights law and I wanted to be involved in civil rights, human rights, um, reparative justice, all of those conversations. That's where I wanted to be. But if we're being real, that's not where the money is either. So I was never doing this for the money to begin with, and so I had to sit with them like I'm asking a lot of myself to commit to this thing, to be this thing, and what is it I'm actually getting out of this? Is this something you actually want? And it made me actually really sit with what if I wanted to do this or not. And so ultimately decided not to do it. Um, when this job offer came along and it kind of felt like that was the right moment, the right decision in that moment because at the time where I was going to start school to do it, I got this job offer and it was paying me more than any other job I'd had previously had paid me. And so now that I'm in this place where I'm like, well, girl, had you stuck with that, had you told that job no and not come to Texas, you're probably 3 years into a degree right now. um and this would not be as scary for you. And so it's like sometimes I combat with that thought um of whether or not if I had not come down here and got active in the movement and really introduced myself to the movement, would I have been better equipped to actually support the movement? I can chime in and say that person too. Oh, I love this. I think someone wants to jump into the conversation.
Let me answer, and then I feel like um I see we have a comment in the chat. Do I
Hmm.
feel left behind by the current trans rights movement? I would say yes, mainly because I feel like there is an overemphasis on trans youth and trans people in context in reference to this specific conversation. There is a over and because I'm not associated with an org, I can say whatever the hell I want to. Um, I feel like
My God.
there is a over there is a there is a overemphasis on like trans youth and on trans people in the military. And there's an overemphasis on it because it's dealing with white people. And that's what a lot of these orgs use to raise money and to get sympathy. But I feel like there are so many of us in the middle of the sandwich that get overlooked. Like so many of us have lost our jobs in particularly in movement, but also outside of movement too. And I feel like
Hmm.
there were so many opportunities before we got here where we could have prepared for this. We could have, and I feel like just being in a lot of those spaces, it's a lot of like movement talk and a lot of these big high in the sky. And there's no real connection to like how do we make this work on the ground. And there's so much messaging about the sky is falling, the sky is falling, everything is on fire, but nobody is talking about, okay, we've been here as a people before. What are the things that we're going to hold onto that's going to anchor us, that's going to hold and guide us through this moment until the pendulum swings the other way? I feel like there were so many missed opportunities for us to really come up with some type of nuanced mutual aid type of situation. When you hear these stories about how Trevor Project, they got a $40 million donation from Mackenzie Scott and all of the, like, what are these orgs doing with that money? Like, how are they spending that money in ways that either puts money directly into the pockets of people who are impacted by this stuff, or that are creating support and social nets for us to be able to make it through? Because if
Yeah.
y'all are getting that money, I just feel like it's right to kind of set those things up or invest in that. And I just haven't seen that. And like going back to the last question, it's just like you have so many people that are like, well, you're educated, you'll be fine, you'll or like
Yeah.
the whole conversation about being overqualified for something. It's just like, oh, you're smart, you're phenomenal, you'll be fine. And we are I'm literally telling you, I don't know if I'm going to be fucking fine. Like I need
Mm-hmm.
yes, I'm this magical unicorn, but bitch, I still have to pay rent at the beginning of the month. I still have bills to pay. And me just being fine, that's not getting me access to money
No.
to make sure that I'm able to survive, that I'm able to maintain, that I'm able to overcome. And I just feel like the ball has been dropped because a small group of people have decided that everybody else is expendable and we have to put our energy into these white passing trans youth, or uh, these trans people in the military, and I'm gonna put a little bit of spice in it, that waited till they was 40, 50, and 60 to transition. So okay, I'm not going
Mm-hmm.
to, it's TDOV. We're putting
Cause
our
T-Dove, girl, yes.
instead
Mm-hmm.
of the people, and we know that people are going to fall through the cracks, but we don't care because y'all are fabulous and your skin is great, and you're passable, and it's just like, no, we're literally,
Yeah.
we need help. Like, what are y'all going like? And it's just, and that's another thing I want to go. It's just like people will see bad stuff happen in our movement and they'll just put their head down in the sand and just act like nothing is going on. And it just adds to like the frustration. Like, what is it going to take for people to like move in their integrity? So like I do feel left
Mm.
behind. I do feel, because I'm not in a point of life where I need access. Like, and to be truthfully honest, I haven't taken them on in like over two. Like, that's really not like I'm never going to not fight for the access to take hormones. But bitch, that's not my
Yeah.
fight. That's not my fight right now. I
Yeah.
don't need access to hormones. And if I really want the look, I'll save up my coins and go get the surgery to go get the look that I want. I don't give a fuck about hormones. I need ways to I need pathways and pipelines to make money so that I can take care of myself, so I don't really have to interact with these systems. I only interact
Mm-hmm.
when I choose to and not because I have to.
Mm-hmm. Because I have to. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's real.
Um, it looks like Mateo has a response. Hey, Mateo, I know the question is for you both, but can I chime in and say that I personally do? Only saying if it adds to the combo. You can definitely chime in. And once we get to the end of this, I'll have a portion towards the end of this where if people want to come up and say what reactions they have, they can definitely do that. I wanna ask like a couple more questions because we've been on. It'll be an hour and we're approaching 90 minutes.
Oh
But
wow, that flew.
um, we kind of answered this. Um, we've kind of answered or hit a lot of these questions that I'm skipping
They kind
over.
of overlap, yeah.
Okay, let's put this in the chat. Okay. So you were doing comms work before. Do you
Hmm.
see yourself remaining in your current or desired industry?
So it's funny. This was a funny question for me, because it plays into how I've been moving in this space of unemployment. So once I departed from the frantic, what am I going to do? Who am I even without this title space? And started to transition into kind of rehumanizing myself in my own head. I started to like really contend with, do I still want to be doing this? And when I say be doing this, like I said, I wasn't working directly in a space of community up until 2023. No, I can't say that. 2020 was when the last time, my first time really working directly within community. Um, but prior to that, I had been working, like I said, I was living stealth and working either retail job, admin jobs. I've done everything from working on a call center, working on a law office, you name it, I've held the position. And so once I got to this place where I kind of found work that gave me purpose, because I was always at the no matter where I worked, I needed to feel aligned with what the company and or organization was doing. Once I found to this place where I felt like I had purpose in my work, it felt like it was worth it. But then what this previous job experience has taught me is that once you find purpose in your work, it takes everything from you. And let me contextualize that some more. It takes everything from you in the sense that yes, you're gonna love this, but there is no off button. You don't go home and clock out. It doesn't leave your brain. You stop worrying about these things. I don't get to depart from community when I clock out. And so it it became aware how consuming it was if I was going to keep doing this work in community, what that was going to look like. And so I have been applying, I've done about 20, 30 applications since I got let go, but maybe about five of those have been comms jobs, and maybe another five have been for nonprofit jobs. The other have been like part-time work or temp work, doing admin or support roles, remote, whatever. Like I'm at this place now, I feel like either I need to feel, it's really important to me that I feel very aligned with the mission that I'm getting behind. So that way, if I know now have to be realistic of how much I need to give myself in order to give of myself in order to earn this paycheck, it needs to be aligned for me, because if not, I don't have anything to give of my person outside of what's going to pay my bills. Um, and then the rest of that energy is going to go towards building my own table. And so, yeah, it's a mix. I am open to the work because again, it is what I am good at, but I'm not desperate for that work either. And so it needs to be something that is aligned, that makes sense, not only just for them, but for me, for the organization or for the employer, but for me as well.
I feel like for me, and I I could definitely stay in the industry as far as the policy stuff that I was doing, but I think it would just be contingent on the organization and the environment and the structures that are there. I'm very clear
Hmm.
that any job that I've been laid off or I had to leave, I'm not interested in repeating whatever like toxic like dynamics that went on. Like I'm just
Oh
very
my God.
clear that I'm just not
Mhm.
interested in doing that. Um, I'm int- I'm I'm having to pivot, but I'm open to everything. I think I want to go back to the last question, which I forgot what the damn question was, and I wrote the question. Another issue, particularly that I am having as I'm navigating new jobs and new roles, and I thought I did a good job of trying to get over of trying to not compensate for it, but kind of to get in front of it. But I don't know if I can. When you are somebody, especially you are a trans woman, and you just have this thing about you. You have a you just had the star quality, the star in the sense of she's not only going to come in and do her job, but she's going to add to the value of the organization.
Mm-hmm.
Some people either really you have some people that either really like that because they either genuinely like it or they want to exploit you. Or you have some people that because they see you as a star, they can't see you doing anything else. So when I'm telling you, yeah, I'm the star, but I can just be a staff attorney. I can just be in the background, or I could be a director, or even I could just be an associate. I don't even need to like lead or run this thing. And no shade, I would just love to have a job where I don't have to be on the director's level and just not have to think and have to deal with all of the drama that happens on at the C-suite manager level. But and I'm humble enough to know that I could do the job. I could do the job all the way from ED all the way down to the intern because I know how to be a team player. Like I'm malleable in that way. But I have experienced both like actual and perceived people thinking like you're an attorney. Why would you want to work here? Why would you want to discount
Mm-hmm.
yourself? Why would you? And it's like, bitch, I need to pay my bills.
Yeah.
Why don't I just get to be, why do you kind of take me out of being a human that needs to get money to do the things and I'm just this magical thing? And like I've experienced like the triumph of me or the goldenness of me, that also being a thing that keeps me out of doing a certain type of job because it's like like you're better than this, you're like you should be going after the ED. But like I read the job description. I like tailored my cover letter to show you how I could do these particular things, but it's just like, well, no, she's too good. And then if the right situation comes up, she might. If a better situation comes up, she might leave. And
She'll
I was
abandon ship. Yeah.
so like, but also it's a mindfuck because it's like I know that I have to pivot because what I can do and what I should be getting paid to do is not that much of those things out there. So you kind of have to get in where you fit in. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but to answer this question, um, I kind of feel like I am going to end up pivoting. Like I would love to be an attorney. I just I really feel like this like I would love to just be an attorney and be a lawyer and nothing that has anything to do with transness or constitutional or civil rights. Like I would love to do I would just like I applied to be an attorney at like an environmental justice like organization and didn't get it. Like I would love to do this, but
Mm.
I really think the trans thing um it deters people from wanting to take a chance on you in this particular time. So even if I wanted to stay being an attorney, like I feel this invisible force like pushing me out. Um,
Pushing you out.
and it, it's devastating because I didn't go to school, I didn't accumulate all of this debt. I want to be in the places I want to, grow my career, but it's just far and few in between, and I just feel like by the end of this, I'm going to be doing something that is definitely sustaining me and keeping me together. But I don't. I don't know if it's going to be in the activism movement. I don't know if I'm going to be an attorney, and that's something that's very devastating to me because that doesn't look like the life that I had planned for
Had
myself.
pictured. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I
but
can
I
relate.
am a survivor, and like I said, I've been working. I've been working since I was like 14 years old. So like I can, and I'm not somebody that me being a lawyer is my identity. Like I'm more than that. Like I'm more than that, and that I bring more than that to the table. So I could literally do whatever I wanted to do, but it is hard just knowing the work that I put in, and just knowing that I have to dream a different dream for myself. So I would love to stay an attorney. Um, I would love to do policy again, but like I said, the organization and the structure, it would have to be something completely different than the experience that I had. Um, I've toyed with the idea of being an ED of an org, but the way that funding and everything is working, I just don't know if it would be the right time for that. But in 2026, there's just no certainties at this point. The name of the game is to make enough money to pay my bills. So like, um, it's probably going to be gig economies. Like I'm not shading McDonald's. Like I have no problem. Like if I need to go get a job at McDonald's, I would get a job at McDonald's. But for me, because I've been remote for so long, and because I have to move
Hmm.
around, I don't see me just staying in one place like week to week. Like I have to
Hmm.
move, especially if the opportunity comes up for like me to get some side money. I'm not about to sit here and be going back and forth with my supervisor where I need to take a day off, or I don't
Yep.
want to go back to that
Yep.
thing
Yep.
of,
Yep. Yep. I'm not doing
remember
that.
when you worked the retail
I'm not
job,
doing that.
it would be like that Friday or Thursday when you will wait for the schedule to be put up on the to be
Yep.
put up on it.
I'm
Like
not doing
I
that.
don't ever see myself, and that's not to shit on
Mm-mm.
that job. It's just I need to be in control of my time.
No,
I need
I
to.
don't think, and I don't even think that necessarily means that you're shitting on it because if you have already transitioned to living your life both professionally and personally a certain way, and you're already dealing with one transition of having lost your job to then have to then go back to fun, because also to give credit, we were not the same people we were when we had to take them kind of jobs. I know I was.
Mhm.
I'm not. I'm
I
not
don't
that
even
girl
know
that
if
was
I
working three
would
jobs.
laugh. I don't even know I would laugh because all of the wage stuff, the sexual harass, like we nipping that in
Like,
the bud,
girl,
boo. We
the
not
version of me that put them three jobs together to work them to make ends meet,
like
working 16-hour days, I
you paying me
that
minimum
version of me, I
wage.
had to kill her.
You paying me minimum wage, and you think you gonna talk to me crazy? And no, we not doing
No,
that. We're not doing
I can't do that.
that. Like I
I
would
can't do that.
literally
Can't do that. Can't
walk
do that.
down up out of here. But like I said, it's not to shit on no job. But I don't see myself punching in and physically being in the same place when I'm doing the gig economies, doing the DoorDash or
Hmm.
whatever. It frees my time up, and I'm somebody. I think I really feel like I have ADHD. I just am not diagnosed. I get bored very quickly, so I need to move. I
Hmm.
need and just
Hmm. Hmm.
driving somewhere. And then that's another thing, dealing with Houston traffic, like having to
Oh,
commute. That's not
girl.
something I want to deal with. That's just not something I
Girl, I'll
want.
be
That's
cussing
just
about that every day.
Yeah, that's just not something
Every day.
I want to deal with. But yeah, it's a yeah, I would like to say to stay, but I also realize just a lot of the jobs are just drying up, and we
Hmm.
just got to figure out different things to do if we want to we want to make
I
money.
think,
So.
and ultimately, I think that's going to land for a lot of us. Trans or not, it's going to. That's what's going to land for a lot of us is creating some concoction of combination of gigs that are paying our bills because the alternative is giving your life and your health and body to a job that is going to see your ruin. So,
Mhm. And I'm not
yeah,
doing a job where I'm standing up all day. I'm not doing that.
no, 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 no. I'm not doing that. I'll go temp work. Like I said, I've been. Oh, also, I don't know if you're familiar with them because I'm also registered with them. Robert Half. And the fact that you're a lawyer,
Yeah.
you have more opportunities
Mhm.
than I would. Robert Half, when I was working in DC, the DC and Maryland area, those when I would get assignments from Robert Half, they almost always ended up in permanent assignments. Or
Mhm.
if I did not take the permanent assignment, within days I had another assignment. So it's like I'm in a space now, like I'm fine with doing that for years. If I need to do that for a year or two and just keep going in and out and being a little tooth fairy to these companies for a couple weeks and bippity boppity boo and see my way out and collect the check, I'm okay with that for a while. I am, because like you said, it frees up so much time being
Yeah.
able to know that I can use the rest of my day to maintain my house, build out my business, figure out what it is I want. Yeah, yeah.
I
I'm
have
right
been
with it with you.
I've been a remote worker since I got out of law school, and I just don't know. I don't want to have to experience what that would be like to just to go back just to go back into the just to go back into the workforce, and then also
Hmm.
deal with messy ish fog, trying to find tea, and I'm just it's just certain things
Mm-mm.
that I'm just not it's just certain experiences that not interested in having. It's certain conversations that I'm just not going to have, and I would just rather work from home or do gig economy. And then I think we can segue into to to this before I ask the last question I want to ask.
Sure.
Um, So I have been kind of pushed into like formally being a consultant. Like I have
Hmm.
consultant insurance. I think that's another frustrating thing because a lot of people will say, well, maybe you should be a consultant. You should go into consultant work. Consultant work is for the fucking birds because co- I'm the org will remain nameless, and I'm hopeful that things will work along and move out. I've been promised things will work along and move out, but I had something that was supposed to start in February. I'm still waiting in March, going on April, for that thing to start, and that money was going to like tide me over at least until the end of this year, and it's still in
Hmm.
progress. But consulting work is not easy because you have these organizations that will pay you on their time when they feel like it, and
Yes.
it's just so much that comes with being a consultant, especially being a Black trans consultant in this time.
Yes.
It's just not easy work. You having to send invoices to people, you having to chase after people after they've made promises to you. So like doing consulting, it's not the seamless transition, and then you have to pay for everything. You
Hmm.
have to for everything. So being a consultant, it's hard work. Like it's hard work. It's hard work before you even get to the actual work. That's what I
Yeah.
have been experiencing. So, like I said, I hope the
I think
situation
even
will.
the environment around consulting has changed though too. I think
Mhm.
that at one point in time, like especially the people who keep throwing out this idea of, oh, be a consultant, do it on your own terms. They're coming from this perspective of, oh, well, once you have a billable hour, you're now free, but that's not really how that works, especially
Right.
now where a lot of these companies and these organizations are project based. So they're coming to you with a list of needs that needs a list of people to address that is not even designed for one person to have to address. And so it's really, you're finding these pods of consultants, two or three consultants working in a pod or a team, that are tackling these projects and getting the contracts that actually will pay your bills. Whereas they're holding out and wasting our time with these endless interviews and endless fishing processes of, oh, well, we're looking forward to do X, Y, and Z, and they'll drag you along like they're interested, but in reality, this is much like what you're experiencing. You're waiting for forever to get to a place where they had no intention of landing, because again, the expectation was never aligned with bringing you on board as a single consultant to begin with. And so I
Right.
think that shift is also changing what prospects look like if you are an individual consultant functioning on your own.
Right. So I technically am a consultant. I kind of have been pushed into that, but the consultant game is just as cutthroat as just being loyal to just one organization. Because, like, my God, like, so, or you just, you just have people just take their time and play in your face, and it's not easy. It's not easy.
Not
Um,
at all.
and I've heard stories from other Black trans consultants just having to, just from multiple people. It's just not, it's really not respected work. And I feel like the best way you respect people is making sure their money is paid up front and on time, especially if,
Mhm,
but it's,
mhm,
yeah, it's not hard work, especially during this time, particularly where funding streams for, like, marginalized communities have, like, shrunken, or they've become highly, people are fearful of facing future litigation for
mhm,
donating to specific groups of people. So money has dried up or shifted to other groups, other less, what's the word I'm looking for, um, less riskier groups to invest
mhm.
into.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Let me go to this last question.
Hit me.
And then after this last question, I'll open up the lines if people want to come up and give commentary. And then we can close this thing out because I'm pretty sure everybody has things that they are doing for TDOV. And I want y'all to be able to go and do your things. So, what
Mm.
is currently bringing you joy, and who is your community?
What is bringing me joy? What is bringing me joy? I think, and this is bad. I realized me taking a while to answer this question. Um, I think what's been bringing me joy is not having to do this alone. And less broadly than that, like I said before, because of my tendency to self-isolate, like the other night I posted to my story, I went out the other night, and if it had, like I said, had it just been me, y'all would never see me post my story. I would not be going out on a random Tuesday night or a Monday night, like for what? But the man that I'm with makes sure that, like, he'll read my mood, or he'll read, like, if I've been snappy with him for a few days, he'll be like, "Nah, let me get you out the house. Let's change your environment. Let's change your what you're feeding your self-talk." Um, and so those little pockets of, just tipping out on a Monday night, or he texted me and he has a date planned for us on Sunday, and I'm just like, okay, these little pockets of that pull me back in, and like not everything is crap right now. Not everything is crap. And so stop telling yourself everything is crap right now, because it's not. It feels really hard, and it is really hard for me as an individual. But the thing that is bringing me joy is the fact that my individual is aware that I don't have to do this alone. Um, what does community look like for me? I have so many amazing people I have worked with in Houston over the last 3 years that I was in my role, that, like I've said before, I've struggled with, like, certain tethers of connection that weren't reliant on the work before. But if I'm being honest, though, I don't really feel any kind of way around that, because I spend so much time out that I just think that with time and being out more and running into people and just keeping myself visible, that will shift. I already feel like it's kind of been shifting a little bit. Um, but yeah, like the biggest thing that I try to avoid is to keep out of my tendency to isolate, because I think that is going to be that difference in coping and behavior that's going to make all the world the difference of what my end result looks like, even though I don't even really know what that looks like right now.
I would say what is bringing me joy, um, the ability to rest and to process. So I'm in a position now where I've been able to be unemployed, but at least be unemployed comfortably from January to June. Um, my rent is paid up to the end of my lease, so I didn't have to worry about not paying my rent and getting evicted. Like my car is paid off for the mother felt like something was coming, so she got a consolidation loan, and she paid off her car. I still got to pay the loan back, but I felt something coming, so I wanted to financially put myself in a situation where I could just finagle and move some things around just to make sure I was together. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I needed to rest. I particularly with this last job, I had been running for the past like 2.5 years, and towards the end of last year, I felt the wear and tear not only on my body but my mental, and I didn't know that I would. I really had doubts if I was going to be able to continue running how I was running going into 2026. So, um, I am thankful that I've had the opportunity to rest. I'm in a position where when I wake up in the morning, I don't know what my day is going to look like. And I can just go with the flow and just have my days, just go with the flow and have my days, just naturally,
Progress. Yeah.
naturally whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I'm gonna be honest, this is the most time I've ever been in Houston, because usually I would, in a calendar month, I would maybe be in Houston maybe a week at a time, because
Mm-hmm.
I was traveling so much. I was either going back and forth to Seattle or just traveling to all of the different conferences, and I didn't get to be home. I didn't get to partake in the local Houston culture, or when people had local events, I couldn't be there because I was always out of town. So it has been nice. Being in Houston, being able to go to rodeo. Because since I've been living
Mm.
here, I wanted to go to rodeo, but every time rodeo would come, I would either be traveling, going to a conference, going somewhere, or going somewhere, or I would, if I would be home, I would be too exhausted. So it's been nice.
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to go to the rodeo. I've been able to go to the movies. Like I literally have been to the movies back to back to back to back to back every week, and that's been nice that I've had the energy to like just do things I like, going to concerts locally, going to the park, trying new restaurants, just being able to see a whole different side of Houston.
Yeah.
I've also had loss in my family, so being able to grieve my family member and not have to worry about, okay, when I got to go back to work, or I'm at the funeral and somebody's sending me an email, or somebody's texting me, or somebody's not, being attuned that, hey, I don't really have the capacity to do that right now. It was nice to just be able to grieve my aunt, be with my family, support my family members. And even when I got back home for the funeral, I still needed 2 weeks just to like sit in the loss and the devastation and the family shit. And
Mm-hmm.
I am very appreciative that I have this time, and I can do it comfortably, because I talk to my friends who had to go back at work, or who had similar losses, and they only had a day or two just to be off, and they had to go back to work. And they're telling me like,
Mm-hmm.
I wish I was in your situation where I had a couple of months to just kind of get myself together. So I'm
Process. Yeah.
very, even though losing my job and the way that I lost my job is very devastating. I do believe everything happens for a reason. And my body and my mind needed this break. So that is, and also seeing how loyal people are, especially in the movement work, because like let's just have the real conversation. It's a lot of unloyal bitches in this work, and I'm going. This is
Yes.
Brianna saying it. It's a lot of people that are unloyal in this work. It's a lot of people that are not about siblinghood or sisterhood or all of that. There's a lot of people out for themselves. So and you see people's true colors like when things happen. So it's been very
Yeah.
refreshing to see the people that have reach out to me, the people that have stood up for me, the people that have done things for me, because you do wonder, like, as we are in this revolution right now, who are your comrades? So it's been really nice to experience people's loyalty and their integrity. And I'm somebody, I'll never forget it. Who is my community? I have family members that I'm in relationship. I have a very strong friend group. I have people in my life. I was dating somebody when I got laid off. I ended up breaking up with him in January because he's nice. I really enjoy. He came into my life when I was dealing with the most chaos at my job, and I appreciated his presence because he was a nice distraction just from everything that I was going through with like work and other things that were going on in my life. And it was a nice 6-month run. We had a good time, but all good things come to an end. He needed to figure himself out and get some things together. But as far as like me, I'm just, until I get some stability with just financially what's going on, I'm not really interested in dating or doing a relationship thing. We can have fun, but I'm not going to purposely open myself up to you, because for me to pursue dating or relationship, I like to have stability on my end. But I did end up breaking up with him because I was like, yeah, this I can't deal with what I'm going through and deal with you potentially doing some fuck shit. So I'm just going to cut my losses. But when it's time for me to have romance and to do that, those things will be there. But it's been nice. Just having people support me, having people speak into me, send me words of affirmation, and so many people have done so many nice things over the past couple of months. And I'm just really fortunate. And there's so many people that want me to win, and I know that I will win. I know that this is temporary. This is what I keep telling myself, that this is temporary. This is temporary, and I've been here before, and I'm going to come out of this. But I'm also, while I'm here, it's just very important for me to use my voice and to not let fear and shame keep me hostage. Because a lot of people are expecting us to be ashamed, to be embarrassed, to not talk about what we're going through, and to just kind of fade into obscurity. And I just refuse to do that. I just that's not something that I'm interested in doing. And I know I'm not the only one that is going through this as well. So that's why it was very important for me to do this today.
Yeah, no, I love that you created this space. This has been so impactful.
Yes. So that takes us to the end of today's live. Before I put the link up to see if anybody wants to come up and just give any reactions or response, Míchél, I just thank you again. Thank you so much for doing this. When I was thinking about this yesterday, I was just like, I hope I don't break down crying at some points, because a lot of the stuff, like, as I think about it, it's just emotional. But I'm not gonna say I'm glad I didn't cry, but I was prepared to cry and to shed some tears, because like this is real. And like I literally yesterday I had to have a conversation, because I'm a part of I'm on the e-board of this LGBT group that's within the National Bar Association, which is like the oldest association of Black attorneys. And we have our conferences every year. And like I had to have a conversation where I was prepared to step down from my position, because I'm chair elect, which means that I will become like chair of the division like next year at some point. But I had to have a conversation, like, I need to step down, because like NBA is a very coinsy organization, and you gotta have money to go over there. And like I don't I have no shame. I ain't got it like that. Like during the season, I don't have it like that to pay $1,000 to go to a conference to register for a conference, and to
Oh,
get a
girl.
room and to fly to, and then I don't want out if the airports are still cutting up like how they are now. I don't think I want to
I
get
have
on
no
the.
interest in flying.
That's
No
another
interest
thing
in
that's
flying.
bringing me joy. Even though I'm
Hmm.
unemployed, I don't have to go to the damn airport and wait in line for 5 fucking hours for a 2 hour flight.
Anymore. Nope.
I don't have to be
Nope.
breathing
Sure
in
don't.
other people's germs and getting sick. So again, everything happens for a reason. But I had to have this conversation, and like I was embarrassed because I've experienced different things from people as I've had to step away from stuff to just focus on me. Where it's like some people are supportive, and then other people are like, I don't understand why you're stepping away. I don't get it. It's just a job. Like, so I didn't know how this person would receive me, but luckily she was just she understood. And because she doubles as a preacher, she basically talked me back into rescinding my resignation. But, um, I was just like, I don't have it. And that's a hard conversation for people to have, especially when you're
Yeah.
used to being the girl that has the
That
things and
has it.
shows up to the things. That's a very humbling conversation to be like, I don't got it. And also I don't want to get there or somebody has to pay my way. I want to be able to do that for myself.
Doing myself. Yeah. That's real. That's real.
So let me see if anybody else well yeah let me I want to thank you for doing this with me and for doing this just for doing this with me and also for doing this on TDOV. This feels very cathartic. Like we like even though we are unemployed, we're still here, we're still trying to be visible, and make sure y'all
Hmm.
don't forget about us, because
Please don't.
that's how y'all make a bitch feel like we're not worthy and y'all have forgotten about us. And bitch, I'm still here because when I do get up, don't be trying to circle back to me because I'm gonna remember how you treated me when you thought I wasn't shit or you thought I didn't have shit. So
Yeah. 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 That's real. For me, it's more so I'm gonna always remember being made to feel like who I was wasn't enough. It was more important about what I could offer.
right.
Yeah.
So let me put the link in the stream yard, and I'm only going to be up here. I'm only going to keep this up here for 5 minutes. If I do not hear from y'all, y'all just going to have to catch us in the replay.
And the
But let me
replay,
put,
my goodness.
yeah, let me put the link up here, and I'm gonna put the music and stuff on, and then y'all have until 3:05. If y'all don't bite, I will get us up out of here. Put the music on.
Come on, music.
Okay, so it looks like we have I'm assuming this is Mateo up here. Mateo, thoughts, reactions.
Not you saying my name, that go crazy.
Oh, sorry.
No.
I didn't know. I didn't know we supposed to be using aliases. My bad.
That's insane.
Strike it from the record.
Strike it from the record.
Strike it from the record.
Nah, I just wanted to come up here and just say how much I've enjoyed listening to y'all. Sorry, I'm not on camera. I look like shit, so that's not gonna happen. But super happy that y'all are here. This has been a great conversation, and these are conversations that actually really do need to be had about like Trans Day of Visibility is not for everybody this like beautiful thing where everybody's so happy to be trans and like trans this is great. Like people actually do be unemployed and people actually do be struggling out here, especially in like the way that America is set up, the way that this country is set up. Like it's hard to be existing and be proud and be loud and be trans and be employed. So I just appreciate y'all's like candor and y'all honesty and y'all vulnerability in this moment. Because I think, again, these are the conversations that need to be had for real. It's like the realness of shit be hard, and these policies and these laws and these bills affect real people. And sometimes these nonprofits don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
They say they do,
They
but they
don't.
don't. It's all about like, how can we use you today, and not like how can we actually sustain you. So,
My God, yeah.
and I guess I'm coming up here to talk my shit or whatever because I've had a lot of thoughts. Uh, but yeah, I for one am tired of being a part of a system, especially this non-profit industrial complex that continuously uses us and then abuses us in the same conversation. Like, it really is the "what have you done for me lately" thing instead of "what have I been doing." And that's ghetto, and it's not fair, especially for Black people, especially for Black women to deal with, Black trans women, Black cis women to deal with, uh, femininity to be deconstructed in the way and weaponized in the way it is. All of this shit is fucking disgusting, and I hate it. So, just want to say that. And I too have been used and abused by this system.
Very that. Very that.
Haven't we all at this point? Haven't we all? Well, you know, Thaddeus, I appreciate you. I appreciate you and your support and you coming up here and really engaging, and yeah, I just want to make sure that in the stories that we cover about ourselves that there is balance, and that we're really giving a voice to what we are experiencing during this time, because it's not all trans charity albums and little kids with purple hair running around with the trans flag as the cape. Like, it's a lot of us trying to figure out how to stretch our dollars out so that we don't end up homeless and on the streets,
Yeah.
because we know that there are no services available for us. And like I said, I don't want to have to depend on the kindness of a stranger or depend on hopefully a cis person getting it on that particular day. I just need more than that. I just need more than that. But yeah,
Yeah, girl.
we're gonna push through and we're gonna get through this.
Yeah. Listen, I believe in both of y'all. When I say I really believe in like the actual liberation of people, like I believe in both of y'all. I love both of y'all. I think y'all are both great. I'm a silent
Thank
supporter.
you.
Uh, but y'all are amazing. So just keep on keeping on, you know?
Well, I think this is a great place to end this live. And also, I have a call that I'm late for, and I hope they don't shoot me off. It's amazing how I still have to work even though I'm unemployed. I have all of these calls and emails
Didn't
and
I
stuff.
cook you? Didn't I
Yeah,
send you to a
the work
place?
really does not end.
The work never stopped, whether employed or not. My God.
Doesn't. But again, I'm so thankful that everybody shared space today. Again, Míchél, thank you so much for doing this with me, and I hope this isn't the last time that we're able to work or collaborate
It
together.
shan't.
And
It definitely won't be.
yeah, thank you for just all the advice and everything that you have given me. And I hope that I can be a support of some way. And I hope everybody enjoys their Transgender Day of Visibility. Tell somebody trans that you love them. Also, give an opportunity to a trans person. Take a risk on us. Some of us are
Take
some of
something
the
off their plate
hardest
today,
working
please.
people that you will ever meet. Now, that doesn't mean exploit us. That
Mm-mm.
means give us the opportunity to rise to the occasion, because we are some of the most
Mhm.
hardworking people, and we come and we it's all about having access to opportunity. We need
Yeah.
access to opportunity like everybody. And this administration is purposely engineering to take away access to opportunity, and that's what we need in
Mhm.
2026. So I'll leave y'all with
Amen.
that. And I will see y'all on the next live. In the meantime, engage with all of my social media content. You can get into the shorts on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok. Make sure you find me and engage with me. If I can't go live, I'm trying to put more interest, more effort into doing, short videos and short commentary. So, but thank y'all. Happy TDOV, and I will see y'all soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.